All right. Looks like we are live. Welcome, everyone, to our Success Mastermind for Monday, the 28th of March, 2022. John Lavenia here. Being that it's Monday, we do have our book study group, which is always a thrill. That's going to be coming up at 9 p.m. Eastern U.S. time tonight. Looking forward to seeing lots of people there because this book, while it's a big departure from most of the stuff that we've gone through here, which is more philosophical. This is more on like communications, persuasion, sales, which is my wheelhouse, and really could be everyone's wheelhouse if you're interested, right? So, of course, we're reading Oren Klaff's Pitch Anything. We're going to be covering chapters 4 and 5 tonight, which are big, beefy chapters. So we got a lot to talk about. Hopefully, you've been reading these two chapters. These are kind of things you could read again and again, keeping in mind that like any skill, you improve with practice. Which brings me to our topic for today, which I wanted to take up here a little bit, is the idea that anyone ever heard the phrase "practice makes perfect"? Yeah, all right, and so obviously that's nonsense, but still it's catchy and people listen to it. I have a friend who you'll see how this correlates here in just a minute. Hi, Gail. So I have a friend who recently got quite an affinity for guns. He started buying up guns, and he's probably spent 40 grand in the last 60 days just amassing a collection. That's nice. And he said he's been practicing. I'm thinking, practicing. Okay, well, that's, I guess, better than not practicing. Or is it? Or is it? Hold on a second here. Practicing what? Practicing what? Like developing bad habits? I said, go get a training course. Go train. Then you'll know what to practice. So the purpose of training is that we know what to practice. And a lot of times, this is all different areas of life, but a lot of times people need to unlearn stuff. They need to unlearn habits that are not serving them. Their habits, of course, because they've been doing it a long time and it's natural, seems natural for them to do. But is it beneficial? Well, that's a good question. So we gotta sometimes take a look, and like in my case, I'll take all the training I can get from competent, seasoned, professionals, right? There is, in fact, I'm about to, you can't see it, but I got another book I got to start reading about developing YouTube channels. Everything we've done here, we're publishing to YouTube right now. And it might get, 5 people or whatever to watch the video, but that's not the purpose of this. This is just something I make available for, on replay. But it's not like a promotional thing. So I'm going to learn more about like channels to the point of promotion. Now you could say, I've got habits. I've been practicing posting stuff to YouTube for years. And okay, so that's valid. So I guess technically I know how to click the button and do the thing. Okay, but it doesn't qualify as a practice that for a different purpose. Back to my friend, with the guns, he's been practicing. Okay, nice. I guess that's better than not being familiar with the tools. But is it even the right stuff? Or to what end? To what end? That's the question. So I think about all the stuff that we're doing throughout our days. And hey, Edward. And I think about all the different things that you could spend your time practicing, right? Hi, Linda. So practice is, in fact, now that I'm saying the word a bunch of time, I'm thinking of doctors. They practice medicine, right? That sounds scary to me. Doctors practice medicine. Okay, well, hopefully they got trained, and yes, you don't get the doctorate degree without getting some training, and so they're practicing that, which they've been trained to do. Okay, but still, do we ever arrive? So the whole idea of practice makes perfect is kind of folly. All right, so we're practicing what? There's the question. What are we practicing throughout our days? Now, in this book, Oren Klaff revealed that he has spent more than 10,000 hours practicing the art of pitching, right? Of getting in communication with someone, of setting a frame, what he calls prizing, and setting the hook point, and all the stuff in his strong acronym. All right, so selling strong. These were not things that just by happenstance, he fell upon. There was a whole lot of attention that went on that, and there was to a specific end, a specific purpose, to be able to close or convert or produce exponentially higher than his colleagues or people who are also in that space to whatever degree. And I've noticed for myself that there are things that I've done, unlike the YouTube thing or a social media thing, which I'm not trained in, but there are things that I have done to a specific end that have I've become exponentially more effective than most people in that space. So there's kind of two sides to this. All right. One side is if you're spending your days, and you are, okay, if you're spending your days doing something, what is that something? And is that barking up the wrong tree? Are you going in the right direction? Are you diluting yourself? You see, as we've talked about before, I don't believe in multitasking. I know, some people look at me and, the things that I do and think, my goodness. In fact, Missy says this to me all the time. She says, John, do you ever sleep? You run 4 businesses. You're a crazy person. Okay, cool. That's cool. And we can have a chuckle. But it wasn't at the outset that I was practicing 4 different, approaches to business. It wasn't at the outset. I got laser focused on one, and I built momentum in that thing to a specific end. Okay, so here's the threshold. Here are my standards. Here's where I want this to be. And then I can not diverge or dilute, but diversify into other stuff. Because look, the most dangerous number in business is 1. I just experienced this. You guys want to hear a story? I experienced this the other day. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and get some advertising running for this offer that I'm working on. Some of you are working on it with me. And so I had a website, one, and I had a advertising publisher that I decided to start with and do just a small test campaign, just a little bit over $1,000 to get some traffic into this website and to generate some leads. And that publisher, turns out, for whatever ungodly reason, populates their list with bots, like robots, like automatic clicking devices, to scour the websites and essentially crash the server. So here I am, I'm out the money, right? And here's the one link, and all the traffic goes to that, and it's 15,000 hits all at once, trying to all from the same computers, trying to scour the entire website. The real people, assuming there were real people on those lists, this is why you got to be careful with advertising. But the real people couldn't even get the website. We crashed the damn server. Crashed the server. Had to shut down that site, divert it over to Google or something, just to get rid of the traffic, get rid of this bot traffic, so that the rest of hundreds of people use these websites, right? So the server could live. They basically crashed my server. They apologized. Yeah, you know what? We'll run it to a different list, and we'll do this. We'll make good. They did it twice. They crashed the server twice. Got me kicked out. So I had to go make more websites. And anyway, I wound up getting my money back. So that's good. We had plenty of evidence to show that this is what they did to our servers, and they could look at the evidence. I suppose the authorities could also look at the evidence if they didn't want to look at it. So they decided to look at it, and we got our money back. But in that way, you see how one is dangerous. There was a time when any bozo could show up on Google and place an advertisement and get traffic to any website for any purpose. We're going back some years, guys, like 15 years or 20 years ago, when people could do that, right? Anybody could show up and very easily and with little competition and with low cost, right? Now try getting your advertising running on Google. You need a full-time, ad consultant to figure out how to navigate all that. All right. And that's even depending on what you're advertising. A lot of times there's censorship, and no, we won't run that, or, we'll take your money and then change your mind. And I mean, it's, this is what happens, the old saying, absolute power corrupts absolutely. But I think a lot of that's coming to an end. Here's my point, is that if you're spending all of your attention in one place, it damn well better be purposeful. And then within that, diversify so that you can have multiple approaches to getting the goal. I heard it said that that whatever your goal is, you should have 4 ways to reach it. So here's the one specific outcome we're looking for. And now let's have 4 different ways, each of which are potentially ways that could accomplish that. This comes down to a what's been called a PACE plan. Anybody ever heard of a PACE plan? So this is something that in preparedness and I suppose military circles, Mark, I haven't seen Mark in months, but Mark, I'm sure could talk more about this, but PACE is an acronym for primary, alternative, contingency, and emergency. Primary, alternative, contingency, emergency. So here's our primary method of accomplishing this mission. And when that doesn't work, here's the alternative method. And when that doesn't work, here's our contingency plan. And when that doesn't work, here's the emergency plan. All right. So think of it like water going down a mountain, and you have logs and sticks and rocks and beaver dams and whatever, right, in the path of the water. Will the water get down the mountain? Yes, it will, by whatever means. Okay. Ultimately, it's going down. That's where it goes. That's called gravity. It works always. All right. So, and this is, of course, notwithstanding, now there's the pool or the reservoir, the lake, right? And then a little trickle goes down from there. But ultimately, that water is getting down the mountain. So can you be like that? Can you be so, here's the question. Can you be so single pointed with your attention? Like Napoleon Hill said in Think and Grow Rich, a white hot obsession. Can you have that? And at the same time, diversify your approach to getting it, because you have a white hot obsession, but not dilute yourself in the process. Difference between diversification and dilution. You see that? So then, and this is what I'm going to offer you to consider for yourself, is if you take inventory, you look at how you're spending your days. And if the actions are purposeful, well, if they're not purposeful, let's figure out, what could you say no to? What could you say, you know what, that's just off purpose, right? So like if I was sitting around playing video games or something, you have license to say to me, hey, John, is that going to reach your goal? Is that one of your 4 ways to reach your goals? No, I mean, unless, my goal is to be, one of these gaming experts. And I don't know, I heard there's like kids making big money on YouTube, just running games, and not just YouTube, it's other sites as well. I'm not too familiar with them, but yeah, like they got all these subscribers watching them play video games. Okay. My daughter, who's not a gamer like that, but she was subscribed to this YouTube channel, which was just toy unboxing and reviews. You never even get to see the host. It's some woman with a nice manicure. So there's the hands and nails, and she's unboxing. The camera is focused on the item and her hands, and that's it. And she's narrating the whole time, talking about how cute the toys are. She's got like 1 million or 2 million subscribers to watch her unbox toys. Really? So that's a purposeful action for that person, right? They're growing an audience. There's advertising. I'm sure that the toy companies are like, hey, here's the toy. and, $50,000, go do the video, right? Because now all the kids want the toys. This would be a purposeful action. Okay. Now, how could that person diversify? I don't know too much about that space, but I mean, one of the things, once you've got traffic, once you've got attention, it's like a magazine, right? What's the whole purpose of magazines? Like, you walk up to a newsstand. Do we still have newsstands in major cities? You walk up and you get the magazine, and you pay for it, $3 or whatever it is, to the guy who runs the newsstand. But the magazine really doesn't cost you really anything. And they can give it away for free. Obviously, the guy's got to stand there and sell it, but they can give the magazine away for free because it was paid for by the advertisers. You're the product. Your eyeballs, that's the product. Okay. And when a magazine or a blog or whatever the medium is gets up to a point where it's got significant traffic, then companies want to pay to get you looking at their stuff via whatever that medium is. Pretty obvious, right? So, and that reminds me of the old saying: if you can't figure out what the product is, it's you. You're the product. Back to the idea of how we're spending our time. So we can have multiple approaches to a known purpose. And if we're finding that we're off purpose, we can say no to some things. And then with on purpose actions, we can look at, these are going faster, these are going slower. We can look at still a multi-pronged approach, but not have all our eggs in one basket, because one's a dangerous number, right? We want multiple streams, multiple efforts, multiple fronts. But at the same time, not diluting ourselves. Am I making a point? I hope I am. All right. So I guess I'll end off with what I started with. So here's my friend who's practicing shooting. Okay. And there's multiple skills involved in that, right? Multiple skills. And so there's multiple approaches and multiple platforms of, different weapons and whatever. So yes, they're going to accomplish proficiency, which is the goal of that proficiency. And maybe they want to get into sports, maybe probably more likely just, home defense and things like that. But you practice multiple skills to that one specific purpose. All right. Do you guys have some thoughts on this? Because I know we've got people engaged in a bunch of different things here, multiple things. Mandy, I know you're engaged in multiple things. Linda's engaged in multiple things. Lindsay, I'm not sure what you're engaged in. You're a mystery person. No, I know you. Just having fun with you. Anybody got some thoughts on this? No? All right, I'll keep talking.
Hey, Joe.
Linda, go ahead. Hi, Linda.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is hard to spin a bunch of plates, and you're right. You have to laser focus, but some of us have no choice, and we have to do multiple things at the same time because one just isn't bringing in the money, and so it's you have to. I don't know. It's difficult. I know it's difficult for me, but I try to split it up with. I spend certain days on certain things.
So you're compartmentalizing that.
Yeah. So like I can laser focus on this one particular thing on that particular day. And that's the only way that I find that I can really manage it. As far as the cleaning business goes, that's 5 days a week.
Okay.
There's nothing I can do about that. But there are time slots where I have open that I can laser focus on a particular thing, which I try to do. So things that get in the way, I find more and more lately is meetings. Sometimes, it's just, they sometimes will run on for an hour and it's like, listen guys, we gotta bring it in. Let's make it 15 minutes. I don't have time to, so that's a challenge every day is trying to shorten the meeting So any tips you can give me on that would be great.
Yes, I can give you tips on that.
Okay. And also, what else? Well, you're saying the different multiple approaches. Now, I know in the shopping club business, I do have 2 different approaches that I do. And you're
Okay.
familiar with both. But I never thought about, going beyond that. I don't know. I mean, obviously you change it to the person that you're speaking with, in a sales situation.
Sure.
But, yeah.
Have you been digging in to pitch anything?
I have. I reread chapter 4 today because I didn't get through the whole chapter 4. I was going to do 5 later on tonight, but that chapter is just big. It's huge. There's a lot to digest there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it makes sense. It does make sense. I mean, the stories help me understand it better. So yeah, I'd be interested to see what you have to say about it tonight. And of course, Stuart and Bob.
Right.
Always, yeah, good insights there. But yeah, time management can be difficult. I just find more and more, I mean, because I'm involved in this, challenge right now. I mean, I have to meet every single day with 4 people, and sometimes the meeting can run long, sometimes it's really short, but and then I'm also in an accountability group, and then there's your meetings, and then there's it's just some days I'm like, what did I do today? And then I try to put aside an hour each day to study, to help me grow. And that to me is very important. So yeah, it's
okay. So let's handle the first item. How do you keep meetings brief? Okay. Let's write out of the book. Guys, I've only got 12 minutes.
right.
Okay. So let's get right down to it. So there's that. Simple as that. And it's respectful, but it also positions you as busy and successful. Okay. So a lot of you know that since we bought this house, I've been working on renovating the garage, which I'm happy to tell you is done as of yesterday. I still have some shelves that I could hang up, but I'm not sure what I want in certain spots, but like the walls repaired, painted, clean. The floor still needs to be epoxy. The floor is a wreck, but I'll do that this summer. But it's now parkable. We can actually park a car. So now we're officially moved in. But okay, while I'm doing that in the heat of battle with brush and roller in hand and ladders and everything else, okay, and stucco repair, which I have to thank you, Linda. Stucco, yes, Linda enlightened me that stucco does exist inside buildings. I thought it was just an exterior thing. Well, it could be inside too. So so during all that, it's meeting time. It's meeting time right now. Okay. So I can, again, I don't like the word multitask. Okay. But I can participate in the meeting while I'm doing brainless stuff. Paint on wall, climb ladder, right? There's nothing subjective about that. So I can have attention on the meeting. I may not be sitting there on video. Hey guys, how's it going? But it's headset and whatever. And this way I can accomplish multiple things at the same time. I think, you know what, Linda, that's the thing for me, the line of demarcation between multitasking and my ability to focus while at the same time doing something else. It's the line between subjectivity and objectivity. So let's say you cleaning the buildings, right? That is more objective.
Right.
Right. I mean, you can make a quick decision. That's the cleanser that I'll use with this rag on that item. Fine. That takes a split second. Right. Because you're competent, stuff. That's great. Okay. But you can do that like a monkey. I mean, you don't even need to think about it. And then meantime, here's the audio book. Here's the subjective, right? Which is what you're actually focused on.
Right. And that's what I do, John. I definitely,
right.
Yeah. And sometimes I'm in meetings while I'm cleaning. I mean, it's just, that's.
Right. Okay, good. Well, then you're doing it. You're doing it. That's all.
Yeah.
Now,
and let me give you a tip about your, you mentioned epoxy. So epoxy, I don't know, have you ever done epoxy?
No.
Okay, so let me tell you, humidity holds a huge factor in the epoxy drying.
Mm-hmm.
So the humidity has to be at a certain range in order for your epoxy to dry properly. Because if it's not, then and I don't know if you can control the humidity with inside the garage or not,
No.
but it will be sticky if it's not correct. So be very careful about that.
Well, all right then.
All right.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
humid here.
Yes, that's why you said middle of the summer. I'm like, probably not a good time to do it.
Oh, okay. So wait for hurricane season then?
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying, do your due diligence, do your research, maybe hire a company that can control all that and know what they're doing. So,
Okay. That's good tips. You see, Linda with the tips here.
yeah.
This is great. Guys,
Well, we were gonna do epoxy floor in my basement, and we did a lot of research about it, and I was like, oh my God, no, I'm not doing this. We painted instead.
Okay. Well, what I heard was that epoxy is much more forgiving than the poly.
Yeah.
Moisture will destroy it. So,
Yeah. Oh, it's a
okay.
good product if you can get it to dry properly.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
anyways, sidebar, sorry.
Now we know. Now we know. Well, the first thing I got to do is scrape the damn concrete. I mean, it's a mess,
Hmm.
and so completely off topic, guys. Completely off topic.
Sorry.
But that's okay. But here's a 50-year-old house that is just. I mean, they were running a damn auto shop out of the place. So I mean, it needs the repair in certain spots. They spilled acid where it's all pocked up on certain spots, and then they got shit spilled all over the place. Some kind of, I don't know what it is. Got to scrape that off. Then get the Dyma blade buffer and scrape the entire surface. And anyway, maybe I will just hire. It's like $4,000. $4,000 to do a 2-car garage. $4,000
It might be worth it, John.
might be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who else has some thoughts on whatever this topic is today? Diversification without dilution. That's the topic. Anybody else? No other thoughts on this? Okay. I guess one last thing I'll say about this is that the best laid plans of mice and men, right? So I've got these ideas about how stuff should go, and it doesn't always go that way. And so this is the value of diversification. This is the value of a PACE plan: primary, alternate, contingency, emergency. All right, that's the value of that. Unless you've got a fully functional crystal ball, and I don't, then it would be a good idea to do what I'm doing. If I don't say so myself, a good idea to take a step back sometimes and just take inventory. Here's where all my time's going. Here's what fruit it has produced, and here's what I would like, and to see where the efficiencies and inefficiencies are. Keeping in mind that anytime we're doing something purposeful and with faith that we're going in the right direction and that we can accomplish great stuff, then that is way more efficient than off purpose or just kind of hope and guess. Hope is not a strategy. Okay. So within whatever efforts you're making, within whatever projects and purposes you're working on, let's take a little inventory and let's look at, these are the things that are working to whatever degree. These are things I could add. These are things I could subtract, right? To make this, even more efficient and reach those goals even faster. So diversify without diluting yourself. That's my message for you here today. We're going to get back here at 9 p.m. Eastern U.S. time tonight for more thrills and Orenclaff, Pitch Anything. We're going to go heavy on chapter 4. Hopefully we'll get it to chapter 5. That's what's scheduled to be done, but 4 is just huge. And kind of like when we read the first book we actually read together was As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. And as far as I'm concerned, chapter 2 is the whole book. I mean, there's one before it and there's a couple of smaller ones after it, but chapter 2, I could spend a week just talking about chapter 2. So in this case, chapter 4. Yeah, big deal. I love you guys. Make it a great day. Linda, we're going to go ahead and end off if that's okay. So this way you can get on with your other tasks. We'll keep it brief for you. Okay. I love you guys.